What is up, guys? Today I've got a deck tech for you. It's an awesome deck including all the prototype creatures. Now it's kind of a prototype tribal deck, but we don't really have any tribal support, so I'm just playing all the prototype effects and then we'll see how we can use these to their maximum. To begin, we've got three different things that we want to accomplish with this deck. The first being to cast creatures for their prototype cost. The second is to blink or flicker prototyped creatures. And the third is to win with combat damage. Now, it's really interesting because when you prototype a creature, you cast it for its prototype cost, it comes in with a lesser mana value and a smaller power and toughness. But if you blink or flicker that creature, it comes in as the full creature, not the prototype version. This is a 5-color deck because we are including all the prototype creatures in this deck. I was having a look at all the commanders and I thought the best fit for this deck would be Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa. It's a 3 and a white 3/3 dragon spirit with flash and flying, and when Kyodai enters the battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control Kyodai. It also has an ability where you can pay Wooburg to give it +5/+5 till end of turn. So essentially this is a flash protection creature that is in the command zone. And because we are in a blink and flicker theme anyway, it works really well. If someone tries to destroy our creature, we can flash in Kyodai, giving it indestructible. If someone then targets something else, we can then flicker Kyodai and it blinks and it comes in and we can give that other permanent indestructible so it protects it as well. We might not always have flicker spells to protect our creatures or other permanents, so Kyodai does that for us. It also is a mana sink late in the game if we want to kill someone with commander damage. To start, number one, we are casting creatures for their prototype cost. We have all the prototype creatures in this deck. A couple of these prototype creatures require us to cast it in order to get the trigger, but there are only few of these. So these ones, we want to try and cast them for their higher cost later if we need it. Otherwise, the majority of them are all creatures that have enter the battlefield effects that don't require it to be cast, or they have other effects that apply while they are in play. So we can cast any of these for their prototype cost and then blink it and it comes back in as the full creature. And if they do have an ETB that's usable, we get the ETB twice. These have a variety of abilities. Some of them ramp, draw, buff our creatures. There's a variety of different things that each of these do. And a lot of them are very, very large creatures that we can smash our opponents with. Once we have cast all of these prototype creatures, we then want to blink and flicker them. This is part 2 of the strategy, and we are playing lots and lots of blink and flicker cards. We have instants such as Momentary Blink and Ghostly Flicker, which can exile one or two things at instant speed. We also have instant speed blink effects that will blink our whole board if we want to hit multiple prototype creatures like Eerie Interlude and Disorder in the Court. These are also great because they double as board protection from wraths and things like that. And then we've got a couple of cards that will repeatedly blink these creatures as well, like Soul Herder, Thassa Deep Dwelling, and Conjurer's Closet. These will blink something every turn, so every turn we can turn a prototype creature into the full size. And then Yorion is a creature that will blink our whole board as well, so that's also a great include. But how are we winning with this deck? We are winning with combat damage, and there are 3 creatures that severely accelerate us in doing this. Jor Kadeen the Prevailer, Alabu Ancient Witness, and Emoti Celebrant of Bounty. Jor Kadeen is a 5 mana 5/4 first strike, and creatures you control get +3/+0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. There are a lot of artifacts and a lot of artifact creatures in this deck, which makes Jor Kadeen turned on very easily, and it is a very big attack buff to our board. Alabu gives all of our artifact creatures haste, so we can cast a prototype creature, blink it, and then immediately swing with the full size one. It also has a bit of card selection as well, which is great, and it deals damage when we are attacking. And Emoti is a fantastic fit because it gives spells that cost 6 or greater cascade, and almost all of the prototype creatures have a mana value that is 6 or greater, and if you cast it for its prototype cost, Emoti still sees the full mana value, so it'll still cascade from the full mana value of that card, so it is just free value when we prototype. In terms of card draw and ramp, Card draw, I've gone for a selection that fit different things we are doing in the deck. There are some creatures that when they enter, they draw cards, so we can blink them to draw more cards. Ones that care about artifacts, like one with the machine, that draws cards equal to the highest converted mana cost among artifacts we control. And there are very high mana value artifacts in this deck, some of the prototype creatures. And then Return of the Wild Speaker cares about power. We are cheating these prototype creatures into play after blinking them. They have a higher power than they should because we are abusing this flicker mechanic, and that can also draw us a ton of cards. In terms of ramp, similar thing. I've got some creatures like Solemn Simulacrum that want to be blinked, so we can reuse its effect over and over to ramp. There's a few cards that fix us for colors, like Ornithopter of Paradise, that will tap for any color, and Cultivate the staple green ramp options, because they can fetch any lands that we need for the following turn into play, and it guarantees we have lands for the next turn. In terms of removal, I've gone for removals that can hit any permanent. This is a very big upside of 5 color. You can cast these instant speed removal spells that hit any permanent, these being Beast Within, Assassin's Trophy, Generous Gift. Ones that hit anything are generally better because you don't know what you're going to have to deal with on your opponent's board. And then a few counter spells, Dovin's Veto, Negate, standard spells that are countering non-creatures, because non-creatures are almost always the most threatening to what we are trying to do. They also double as protection. And then before we continue with removal, I want to speak quickly about Teleportation Circle. Now, Teleportation Circle is a fantastic fit in this deck. 3 and a white enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, you exile up to one target artifact or creature you control, then return it under its owner's control. So this is a blinking card that blinks a creature every turn, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we want to be doing in this deck. However, it is an enchantment, and there are currently no enchantments in the deck. So, if we don't include any enchantments, including Teleportation Circle, we can then play cards like Back to Nature and Tranquility, which destroy all enchantments. So we've got a sub-theme of hating on enchantments in this deck because we are so heavily focused on creatures and artifacts already. Austere Command becomes even better because we don't have enchantments, so it'll always be able to wipe all the enchantments and then whatever other mode we choose. In terms of combo potential in the deck, there is some potential for combos. I've included Emil the Blessed and Eldrazi Displacer in the deck. These are repeatable blink options. They allow us to sink mana into the creatures to blink things. So these are ways we can blink our creatures over and over by spending mana. So really great fits in the deck. And currently in the sideboard, I have a Peregrine Drake. These go infinite with Peregrine Drake, which gives infinite mana and then infinite blinks. So you can include a Peregrine Drake in this list if you want to, because that goes infinite with these, and then you win the game off that. Once you have infinite mana, you can sink it into Kyodai and kill someone with commander damage, or you can likely draw your whole deck and give all your creatures haste after getting an insane amount of value. So there is combo potential here. I've just not included Peregrine Drake in this build. In terms of tutors, we are playing 2 tutors. This is Treasure Mage and Fierce Empath. I've chosen these because they are stapled on a creature, so we can blink them to reuse the tutor effect multiple times. Treasure Mage fetches a 6 or higher cost artifact, and Fierce Empath fetches a 6 or higher cost creature. So both of these will likely be able to fetch us almost every prototype creature in the deck, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we want to be doing. In terms of protection, aside from all the blink spells and flicker spells we have in the deck, such as Semester's End and the other ones that we've seen already, Kyodai itself acts as a protection spell as well. In combination with all the flicker spells and a little bit of counter magic, Kyodai really pulls the deck nicely together and provides a lot of protection for the things we want to be doing on our battlefield. That's it for the deck tech today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've got a link for the deck in the description below. Go and check it out. See if you would like to build this for yourself. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.